It's Sunday. It's January 23rd, 2022. I turned on the television to see the weather and to see if any incoming messages that might be important from the world or from local. And within the rabbit ear range on the digital package, there between the digit 2 and the digit 4 is the numeric 3. So on it, there was not, it's not like a professional broadcast in the sense of reoccurring theatrical stars or, celebrity faces that communicate in journalism. It was more of an independent, I think they call it an independent production. This particular one is called Your New Jersey. Now, New Jersey is the state just to the south of where my location is. We speak the same English at times, not always, because they follow a New Jersey community. And again, I don't know, is that where you put in the word colony because they're a state of something slightly different? Again, I don't know how the humans use their language in, like, whatever. So, but the importance of this piece, this gentleman, there's also a representative who I watched her piece. Her piece was in a, there was a community member who was talking about their village in this part of New Jersey for this program, which is, it's so charming. It reminds me a little bit of Patchogue in the sense of it has that village feel. My village in Bayside is not the same. It's not old world Cape May, like charming. It's hustle bustle, unwinding, and just holding itself together. It still has a stores that have businesses, so that's important. I know I should be thankful for whatever it is that is here. So the this piece on New Jersey. So I don't know if I should mention the rep or don't mention the rep. Again, am I giving them credit for the piece so it's being acknowledged properly? But then who would be on a follow up? Again, I'm not quite sure. Again, when the faces on a regular broadcast that are so in the spotlight, people know who they are without even having to mention the name. I don't really have to mention the name unless something in the name strikes me as whatever. So I don't know how to keep the anonymity. Do you? Again, these are all things like I'm in a crux of something. But my point in mentioning this is because this gentleman is what's called a certified financial planner. And I used to work in an office answering phones, like customer service. Somebody would call in, they'd have a mistake on their statement. I'd have to call the back office and say, hey, there's a mistake, we need to correct it, send out a new statement, that kind of thing. Nothing like crazy. It was more like catching mistakes is what the original profession I was in was, or customers who caught mistakes then would have a phone number to call in so we could help them correct the mistakes. That was my function. But I didn't meet with, there was a certified financial planner that he had his own name. I worked customer service for his business. Now, their conversation, but the job function that I had and the paycheck that I had, again, money mechanics for fiscal. I saw that today. FISCAL is a word that they have on some US whatever at US Treasury. The fiscal did not work for income coming in was not enough to even have a meeting with a financial advisor. Or I mean, I had conversations because I had access to them, but their script, their human script, their sales script does not work for my person, because my person has never been offered a fiscal policy or a fiscal job or a fiscal commission or a fiscal anything that had surplus. In fact, I've been working within a deficit for so long, which is why my credit report reads so almost derelict. It's because the income I've I've had employment, I've had fiscal, I've paid taxes, but the numerics don't work in a budgeting format. And so therefore this human I know works for a lot of the new, this is the script that they talk about. They talk about life planning. Well, how do you plan a life when the fiscal you're receiving in doesn't cover your monthly bills, your daily bills, your monthly bills, your annual bills? You're always in a deficit. And now they're always talking about, oh, well, you should have a plan, a 529 plan for the kids. Yeah, really? For the children that you popped out. Great. Well, that's wonderful, except I can't even afford them in the today because the fiscal policy is so horrific for my generation or my one situation. I don't know if it's a generational gap thing, there's others that are in my situation. I have no idea. I mean, there's no like website that like we can group together and say, I can't make my bills either, and where do we go to change this? They kind of keep like the fixing quiet. So this is what the humans speak about. I get it as a profession. It just has never worked. Like it's, oh, you didn't plan. No, I didn't have the tools and the utility to make the plan because I couldn't make it day to day in this area.
Proper financial plan
But I
for
know
the rest
he
of
has
their life.
clients.
A couple comes in and now they have their first child.
What they do for a
Well,
living
I
outside of
tell them,
this,
you
I don't
should get
know.
a will. Go see your attorney, name a guardian, think about setting up a 529 plan for you.
So that's, you have money coming in because you have some kind of job. You have fiscal policy, you have fiscal income coming in because you have some kind of a job. So now we're bringing in wills, which are lawyers, and 529s, the financial planner. You're creating community society and a group network of people to help you along your life plan. Well, that is wonderful. If you were blessed enough to have some kind of whatever, where you got to a landing spot for some company that actually paid you to just have some function. I have never gotten to the company level to get paid for some function that actually worked, that then this would be roped in to help me build fiscal policy and safety and whatnot to then live and find or socially climb or whatever the way other humans have been able to exist and whatever within this United States system and this America and this New York and this Long Island, in this New York City.
For your child's education, 18 years is a blink of an eye. I have 4 children. It went so fast, my baby is 21 years old. It comes.
For me, this is small talk. It's just commoner small talk for the area. It means it's like Charlie Brown, wah, 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 wah. Because it doesn't make sense for the situation that I'm living. It makes sense for his clients, for whole sections of the population. It just, the canceled culture or the forgotten about children, it doesn't work for.
So I encourage people to sit with their advisor and make a plan. 20 years is so fast. You must be prepared.
What kind of
If you have to
advisor?
be
Is there a
prepared for the
victims'
unknown,
compensation fund that
and
I'm
these
being withheld
advisors
out
will help
of?
you.
So
Where
when
are their
people come
representatives?
in to do their taxes with their accountant, what should they be bringing with them?
Well, I try to get people to prepare a checklist and have this checklist, and we constantly update the checklist. And it's funny because the young people will do it on their phone. And they'll do it in notes, whereas people my age, they'll have a manual checklist. It's just funny to see that. But a lot of stuff today is emailed to you and not mailed. So it's so easy to overlook something. Like last year, or maybe it was the year before, the state of New Jersey did not mail out the 1099s for the unemployment. So you had to go to the website and get it. So many people forgot that they had unemployment. So if you have a little checklist.
This is where agreement comes in between two humans. I agree with this human that when they don't physically mail you something, you now have to physically make an effort to file for yourself the papers and prepare in like a long, like I've got to all along the year for taxes collect my documents and keep it in a safe folder and then bring it to the tax person so I can now barely afforded the year, but now I have all of the pieces that the puzzle whatever needs to put on the paperwork to submit them when I was working, which I haven't in many years. So, but with this new push for email, everything's electronic and electronic leash. It is the worst. I mean, like, it works for, I know some people, it's like now an addiction where it's like if you tell them that it's going away tomorrow, it's like cutting off an arm. I get that. But for the rest of us, the fact that you tell us we have to live this way under this electronic whatever, it's like you already did harm to the body that, I mean, it's we live in physical world. If there's physical documents that need to be filed, there needs to be some kind of physical, tangible evidence so the human remembers and has a process. This email crap, I mean, even in the emails come in, and there's so many mistakes within them. It's so easy for them to change it. Your 1099 says 50,000. You go back in, and all of a sudden it says 55,000. Some people might not even. I mean, like, these are the things. It's like, why can't you just have a physical, tangible paper to protect yourself from the evil cyber children and the criminal networks that can get in from anywhere? But here's a professional in the business telling you that once you switch over to just this electronic leashing system, I mean, and then back in my day it was, well, what about the post office workers? You can't close the post office. Although now that I look at who's employed in the post office, I'm like, it's a big problem.
It'll help you to remember that, okay, I had unemployment. I need to bring that to the account. And now I always tell people, bring a list of questions. Bring a list of concerns. You hear things all the time from your friends on TV. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. It may be pertinent to your situation. We don't know unless we ask the question.
What about the shoebox of receipts? Do we have to bring that into the office, or do you not want to see that anymore?
I dread the shoebox of receipts, but that doesn't really happen anymore because so many people.
You know, you dread the shoebox of receipts until there's no more clients coming into the office because your job function has been replaced by some electronic automated system. or some college kid that perfected it to an automated system that now took out your human role and now there's no jobs left. That's kind of how this life frame has been as I've been struggling to get by.
Or so many taxpayers that are very computer savvy and they're do everything in Excel or QuickBooks Online. So the shoebox is something you hope you don't see.
Well, Tony, this was so insightful. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think the mathematically challenged that are watching, much like myself, learned a lot from you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, and it was my pleasure. And anything I can do to help anyone, please call. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
See, this is an independent and like professional media coached representative and interview. For me, I'm just overlay parlay on pieces that I've picked up that I'm like, from a couch potato perspective, I don't have media coaching, I don't have wardrobe, I don't have makeup, I don't have hair. I don't have all these professionals making me look polished. I'm not polished whatsoever. I'm just raw. This is what they're teleporting in, and it's the year 2022 on the calendar grid system, which feels actually, the more I look at a calendar, it looks like jail cells. But it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken because I try to collect some pieces of what the humans in their cognition or their conscious effort are portraying and trying to explain the outside, how the outside world is working. It's just my inside world is not working and hasn't been. So I'm, again, not just focusing on the professionals, but I was trying to stay within the professional networks. So at least at some level, there was a layer of recourse and known examples. So somebody can hold someone else, meaning the people on the teleportation device, responsible for why some of us are getting by and even able to reach a broadcasting journalist level of importance, and why others of us are struggling and don't even have access to an information network with all of this TV, cable, phone, cell phone, computers, and no education whatsoever, no community whatsoever, no network whatsoever. I mean, this gets confusing as to which piece. I mean, the whole planet, my whole planet, my whole purpose went missing when I was age 6 out of elementary school. And then everything else has just been circumstances I've been forced to witness. Where is my planet that gives me purpose? Where is he? And why have you just, I mean, it is just like, I don't even know where to begin.